Oh, wait, 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 wait. I've recently told the Tilapis that they are allowed to have more pets. Right, that's okay. That's okay, that's fine then. I was really confused, though. For a little bit there, I was very, very confused. But yeah, it's little things like that. The fact that I've told the Tilapis they're allowed more pets than previously. That's now drained my available livestock. Aurochs as pets? Wouldn't you have an Auroch as a pet? Be honest now, chat. If your landlord or partner or parents told you, look, okay, you can have a pet, and I don't care what it is. If you want a dog, you can have a dog. You want a cat, you can have a cat. You want a fuzzy cow, you can have that. As long as you clean up after it, don't care. Tell me truthfully, would you turn down a fuzzy cow as a pet? Yes, they're massive, but would you turn it down? Because I wouldn't. I'd be like, yep, fuzzy cow. And I want a goat. And I want to raise them together. And I want the goat to ride the cow. It's going to be great. It can just stand on the cow's back. Because this goat, it can balance on anything. It's going to be amazing. They'll be inseparable. I already have 9 cows. I'll look at you flexing over there. Man, I want 9 cows. I'll take one. The gods have forsaken Depernia, and the rains have stopped. If this keeps up, it will devastate our crops. It's fine. We have got so much food, and a lot of our food is rations at this point. So we can easily handle that. Technology-wise, though, we now have law and order, though, and that's incredibly useful. I would love to get an extra level of spoilage, so it decays even slower, but sadly, that's probably not going to be happening. Very tempted to further invest in bakeries and... why have I got so much leather? Did I buy leather from someone? Or do we just have that much leather? That is a shocking amount of leather that has suddenly crept up there. I might need to build an extra place to make leather armor at this rate. My lord. I do sell leather if I've got too much, don't I? Yes, I do. Okay, that's fine. Alright. I need to create more town squares as well, very badly, actually. That completely sidetracked me. Right, let's have a look at what people are saying in chat. I want all of the fuzzy animals, I know, right? Speaking of strange pets, have you heard about the new RimWorld DLC? I have indeed, yes. We've even got a command for it, but I don't think we put it in the title. But yeah, a lot of people were asking about that earlier. It does look very eldritch, yeah. I strongly suspect it's going to be one of the... because if you look at the stretch goals from the Kickstarter, one of them was something like about old gods or like void gods, something along those lines. I suspect this is leaning in that direction because the teaser that Tynan posted with it was It Awakens or something along those lines. And if you look at the actual teaser art, the character is holding what looks like a grimoire and has got a tentacle thing behind them slung over their shoulder like a backpack. The sun is going through an eclipse and the back end of the planet looks like it's being eaten by a shadow. I've got a strong suspicion we are dealing with eldritch entities. RimWorld cult, but real. We might go for another attack, I think. We may just head out and do another bit of a run. But, again, back in here, I wanted to check on our current weaving. And right now, it seems that we're not processing the stuff nearly as fast as we want to. Right now I need the furniture. So how about I increase that? This. There we go. I need to build a lot of furniture reasonably fast. For this, I might actually want to drop access to it. So I did recently just top that up for a couple of folks. I think the humans just got increased. Oh, maybe they didn't. Okay, never mind. Oh, the Amoebias probably did, yeah. But I'm going to need to sell off a bunch of something. I've got crazy amounts of that, and I need furniture at this point. Go for 300. I'll sell you more things. I don't need nearly as much paper as I've got. Don't need the tools that I've got. They actually don't bring me that well. Considering how few I have to sell for that, they do actually bring me a decent bit of cash. And I'll upload of this. In fact, at that point I can pull back my weapons. I don't really want to sell my weapons and my armor away. Right, that's good. Accept. By the time that furniture gets here, I'm hopeful that we will have enough then to upgrade this, and then we'll start really working through the cotton, because we've just massively increased the amount of cotton we're going to get from our vassals. So we want to use that to be able to generate even more cash, effectively. I'm just waiting for the furniture to be delivered, which it will be. Oh, do I actually have this set up down here? I don't, so they're probably going to deliver that. Well, they'll take it to the various workshops first, storage areas, and then there we go. Right, let's have a look. Can I upgrade now? Yes, I can. And right now we're producing 201 fabric a day for 201 cotton. Boom. Not a huge upgrade, I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit sad about that. I wish it had been a bit more, but it's fine. Still, that is going to help us out a little bit more. Maybe I should just build a new weavers area then, to help us get through that cotton that little bit faster. So I would sooner sell the fabric or the clothing than the cotton. How are our armies looking? It's going to take us quite some time to get to them being completely trained, but we're getting there. Right, down here I want one person working, and I want you to gather coal, and that is your primary job. As for this, need some more pottery. Well, we are producing it, so it shouldn't be too much of trouble. Now, at this stage, I'm kind of feeling that we could probably do away with some of the onks. Because they're just producing cotton, and I've got cotton coming in by the absolute bucket load. So I could replace these with aurochs instead. Or indeed Globdian, so we'd have eggs. Yeah, I don't think we need the onks anymore. So, slaughter all. And then wipe that out. There we go. There's an awful lot of cadavers. Let's build this out. Follow the same shape that the last one had. go. Not sure how many aurochs we'll get in here, because there's going to be a lot less. Because they're quite large creatures. Don't take it all the way down there. Right, gates can be here instead. Have a nice chunky hut there. Decent hut down there. And a... Actually, we'll move the gate over here instead, I think. So it's a little bit closer. There we are. We're going to have 22 workers. Output will be 46.5. Right, make it so. Crack on. Well, time to get my shoes and coat and hat. Thanks for helping me calm my nerves, some good sir. Take care, one and all. I'll take care, Spectre Grim. You have a good day. As good of a day as you possibly can, mate. And if you ever find yourself a little bit, feeling a little bit anxious, just know that you can always pop into the Dapperdell Discord if you use Discord. There's almost always someone around, and the tea room is a great place to just come and chat if you just need to get things off your mind, or just need to have someone just to talk to hear someone else existing, really, and to talk about everything and nothing with. Right, that should be all set up fairly quickly. I might change this one over to a Globsian pasture, though. Get a bunch of eggs being made. I think that might be a good way of going with it. Probably don't need to be purchasing grain, like, ever at this point. I should imagine that we're always going to have enough available there. Oh, we've... who lost someone? Ethan's immoral. Someone died of natural causes, I imagine. Bit of a shame, that one. Oh, Build 42 is on the horizon. What's the odds of a return to Project Zomboid? Very high. Very, very high indeed. Say no more. There are plans within plans in motion. Go. Get that one as well. Now I just need one more to upgrade. There we go. Perfect. Right, all of these now have extra room for them. I really love the way that the rooms look as they decorate them. Build 42, for those who aren't familiar with the plans, basically the devs have approached it from the position of, how do we make the game have more longevity? And also, what would longevity look like in a zombie apocalypse? Like, you're not going to just have like, let's say you, like in Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, where you might have the same game world for 7, 10, 20 characters. And across each playthrough, you know, years might be passing in game time before you roll your next character. Does it make sense that in a world, especially like on an online, like a server, in a world that has been living through the zombie apocalypse for 5 years, for a random new, like a new character to be rolled whose profession was a burger flipper? Who, you know, let's say maybe not 5 years, 10 years down the line, maybe 20 years down the line. Those professions no longer exist. Like, you're not going to have let's say you were rolling a 20-something whose job had been, yeah, literally working in a fast food place. If they're 20 in the zombie apocalypse that has been going on for 5 years, they never worked as in a fast food restaurant. So that wasn't a part of their young adult life. that profession had ceased to exist by then. So what did they do? And so part of what they're doing is like bring it in so that as time progresses, certain like jobs will fall off, certain new ones will become available, which will have new stats and associated like starting parameters with them. But also for long-term survivors, how would they survive long-term? Like, with the world has ended, like, most of us wouldn't know how to then, you know, we're not Dr. Stone-level geniuses who would like, haha, you know what? I realize that we now live in a society where, like, you know, massive industry no longer exists, but I really want to build a space rocket, and I'm going to know how to do that with like, I'm going to crush this rock, and I'm going to start slow, make a Bakelite. Also, I'm going to stop and quickly do a side quest to make noodles. And then I'm going to I'm going to have a telephone. And then, bish bash bosh, now I'm in space. It's like, no, that's not how that works. Most people are like, okay, the world has ended. I guess I'm a caveman now. What do cavemen do? I smash rocks to make fire. That's how all of that is going to be happening. You're now going to be able to gather resources from the wild and like process them. So like things like ceramics, like pottery is going to be like, you're going to be able to make a pottery station. You're going to be able to do actual metal work, as in metal smelting, not needing a propane tank to be able to take down the car. No, you're going to be making crude metal tools yourself from scratch. I hate Dr. Stone and his 10 million%. That's because you're 10 million% jelly of his 10 billion% higher IQ. Also, yeah, he's very, very, very tongue-in-cheek stupid. He's like, hey, haha, I'm just going to make a perfect bottle of cola. I'm even going to take the time to make the bottle as well. It's like, what? Like, how? What? I can understand you knowing the recipe for cola. That isn't even that hard, but when did you have time to make the glass bottle, my dude? Come on. I love it and hate it in equal measure. I think I love it because I hate it, if that makes sense. It's one of those animes where you're like, this is my guilty pleasure. I can't say anything. I do this to myself at this point. I'm a willing participant in this. At this point, I'm afraid to ask who Dr. Stone is. Oh, it's an anime. No, it's not. Well, it's not really an isekai, actually. It is literally a world where I kind of figured that like most people would have known about it if they'd been into anime. So I don't really want to give spoilers to someone who might look it up. But it's a world in which an apocalypse happened, and it effectively froze people in time. And then those people woke up thousands of years later into a post-apocalyptic world that was basically reset to the most simple beginnings. But then you had, like, Dr. Stone is the kind of titular character who is just a genius, and is able to, in this basically, you know, proto-civilization, Stone Age kind of setting, do all kinds of crazy modern stuff with like bubblegum string and a hope. You know, it's kind of, I don't know, MacGyver meets the Stone Age. Something along those lines. Isekai with extra steps in a way, but you know, it isn't reborn into, you know, I died in real life and I woke up and I had magic. It's like, nah, the world ended and everyone basically died, but then everyone woke up and no one knew how to do anything because we're all basically kids. I was at the end of high school, and then the world ended, and then I woke up thousands of years later. But luckily, I'm an ultra genius, and so I can do all of these things. And yeah, it's like, again, it's a guilty pleasure anime. It's one where you have to turn your brain off a bit. But if you do, you kind of sit there and you laugh a lot. You find yourself finding how ridiculous it is funny rather than annoying, or at least I do. That's why it's my guilty pleasure. It's like, this is so stupid, but I kind of love that it is. But yeah, so you know, coming back to the Project Zomboid update, that's effectively what that is. You know, what would 5 years after the apocalypse look like? What would 10 years after the apocalypse look like? For people who have servers that run that long, for people who want to just play the game as a survival simulator, what does survival look like when you can't scavenge for any more lighters, you know? Dr. Stone is a knockoff primitive tech channel. No, you know what? If primitive technology got isekai, that is exactly how that would work. It's like everyone else is like, I guess I'm a hunter-gatherer now. My survival is cast a dice. It's at the whimsy of the seasons, and then there's the guy who does primitive technology over there, just reinventing smithing, and has got like a half hammer going, and is like industrializing. You're like, oh, hey, I guess you're the king now. I guess the biggest difference would be the loss of scavenged industrial products. Yeah, and you know, the fact that eventually you are going to run out of tinned food, like as Mooney Rooney says. They're also adding a procedurally generated world beyond the map edge that will adapt itself to modded areas added beyond the main area. Extremely cool. Oh, that's actually very cool. I hadn't seen that. Right. Okay, so we are more or less fixed with the housing problem. We've got some odd jobbers, not many though. We always want more people. We are, and right now I am taking a lot of extra people, but at this point I think I could possibly, maybe, safely start having a tilapia nursery. I think that is something that we might want to do. Waiting for down here. Oh, it's just a pottery. We're going to be waiting a little while longer for that one still. But yeah, I think it is time for a tilapia nursery over here. So we want to go to procreation. I don't want an Amevian hatchery. Not yet, anyway. Tilapias, they need fruits as well. The Amevians need fish, and we do have a decent amount. But no, we'll go with the fruits. We'll make this out of wood. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will make it exactly the same shape, just to keep convention going. We want 3 cribs on each side. 2 teepees. There we go. And oh, Tilapis need more room apparently. Either that or they're just really inefficient. I guess I'll do that. That's fine. There we go. So the Tilapis will grow their population a little bit slower, but that's all right. And we're also going to want a new school down here as well. So we can slap this one over there, I think. Go. Perfect. There's a lot that, like, this is such a messy city because it's built out of me learning the game, and as a consequence, I've not like planned for things in the way I would if I knew what was coming next, sort of thing. But I do like it. I think because of that, there's a certain charm to it. I think. I want a food stall. And I want a marketplace, which will allow the Amevians down here to get just goods for their housing. The fact that we've managed to increase our level enough to get a whole new rank is kind of surprising, because I didn't really feel that we were making enough progress, if I'm honest. Almost like an actual city, I know, right? But I do have plans for, like, again, Omega Dracon Grove. I think instead of moving wood up here, I'm going to have that coming in from a region. But I think having a large population of Talapis working Auroch pastures is going to be huge for us. I don't think I'm going to completely remove my farming either, because that's a good place for the Crotonians to ply their trades. And also, it's not, in my opinion, a very wise idea to completely remove your ability to sustain yourself outside of having vassals, because it isn't even a case that you need to worry about them rebelling. It's a case that if anything happened to disrupt their ability to send goods your way, that would cause the problem. A big one at that. So you'd have to be increasingly aware of how vulnerable you were, and always, you know, securing your supply lines. Whereas this would give us a little bit of redundancy, or at least a little bit of time to address a problem should it arise. This one can just get the paper from over there, I think. Hello, Aavak. It's nice to catch a stream for a change, as I normally watch you on YouTube. Oh, hello. I'm glad to see you here live. I will warn you, though, I am about to wrap up the stream. It's not going to be very long. Just waiting for Lady Sheelab to wake up at this point. Then we're popping out to grab a cuppa and maybe a cake. Need to pop down the vets to pick up some extra meds for Ares. Also, thinking about it, I might need to double check Tilly's flea treatment date as well. I should have done that while I was down there yesterday. Right, well, food-wise, we are actually staggeringly good. I think we might even be able to afford to possibly push. Let's have a quick look at our regions right now. This one I don't think is going to change much from this point. And I'm alright with that. This one is almost at the stage where we're going to be able to upgrade it further, which is going to be a big thing for us. We've got 5 extra workforce. Need build points really for those. It's either going to be the gems or the woodcutters that I go for next. The Auroch pasture largely only exists because I needed something to fill that gap. But that's not the thing that I'm going for here. I feel bad about Alias, but at the same time, they are going to be the next place I take. The reason for going for them is that's going to give me access to trading with this empire, which is reasonably large. And so they're going to have some good trading deals, whereas they, as a trading partner, not much. Don't rate them. Got some well, this place is reasonably big. It's nothing I super need to worry about, but we've got some chonky empires around here. And I need to start expanding out my borders as quickly as I can to have the potential to challenge them. Like, these regions are gigantic. I would very much like to take those. This one in particular is vast and has a huge population. This one as well has got a vast area, but that's a capital city, I think. We want to try and take some larger zones so that we can get some nice regions set up. I think what we might do is go and take on Alias. Or Elias. They have mushrooms which we'd be able to import. They've also got coal. And stone. And I am inclined toward both. We have a look up here. Nothing much going on there. Some very nice stuff there, actually. But yeah, the other reason why going for them might be worth our time is because there's not much that they'd be able to do to stop us. And there's just a single region. What I could do with that region, though, it is questionable because it might end up being very much like Mokken, where I just don't have enough people to set it up to get it to expand at all. Still, if we were able to bring across some coal, then that would be huge for us. And it might be worth my while investing build points here in the Builders Guild. I only need workforce for this one, so increasing the capacity of this place would be relatively easy. I'll get 5 extra build points, a load more taxes, and 30 workforce. With that, I'd be able to expand out reasonably far. I need to do something to get a little bit more workforce there, but we'll see. I might pull back some of the Aavak Pasha is not necessary for me there. But again, as I was saying, some of the regions are just going to have to be kind of sacrificed in a way in order to produce build points and health on a global scale, so that I don't have to invest certain buildings in smaller areas where I've got a much tighter budget of build points. And indeed, creating extra build points in those areas as well. Right, let's take out this forest down here. Fell all of that. Dunk. That's going to give them a lot of work for a while. Right. Now, the Tilapis are starting to explode in population at this point, which I'm very happy to see. There we go. Got more. Oh, bountiful harvest. The growth of our herb farm is showing much promise this year. Do we even have a herb farm? Oh, yeah, we do. Fair enough. I greatly approve. Could even get a larger herb farm over on that side too. Well, maybe we don't need to be purchasing the herbs. No, I think probably still purchasing them is wise. Right then, chat. Do you think we should send out our army for one last attack before we wrap up the stream tonight, or would you prefer to leave that to a more thought out and thorough response, picking our targets in the next stream? If we send out our army, it'll be going over to Elias to have a fight with the Dondorans there. Madison, I have something for this. Wow. Fair enough. Okay. Chat has spoken. Well, let's get both of you. Dunk. Now let's see how many peeps get in here. I've got larger armies this time, so But there's going to be less fully trained. Ooh, that's a good point, actually. My Tilapis are lagging behind considerably. I would have to get a mercenary to help them. Ooh. That is a tricky one. Because my Tilapis are, you know, they're only half trained, unfortunately. I mean, we could send in a mercenary group to help out. But I would actually really like not to lean on mercenaries too much. Last time I did it because they basically bumped their army with what effectively seemed to be mercenaries, so it felt reasonable. But against them, I don't think we will. Okay, so I'm afraid going back on what I just offered, we aren't going to be able to do that right now. On reflection, that would be a bad move. But that does give us more time for our Tilapis and Cretonians to get better at fighting. So, what I will invest in is 650 tech to get them able to train a little bit faster. Oh, slavery, see. Give me a second and I will check which slaves we have. Got 2 human slaves. 2 human scallywags. Got up to no good. Yep. Extra cash injection. Don't mind that at all. But yeah, we'll spend a little bit more time building up the army. And over time, we're going to create a sizable military complex. That's going to be something that develops for us. And in time, we will have certain parts of our population, like a decent part of our population, will be perpetually training. Now, let's give a quick look at our peeps and see what kind of training they have. I'll also build the judiciary in a moment. Access services, maybe? No. Where would it be? Ah, there we go. Sorry. Right, so in terms of the Tilapis, education is 14.2%. This is disliked by your plebeians. High value because less fulfillment. And indoctrination. This is liked by your plebeians. So the Tilapis don't want to be educated. They want to be indoctrinated. So, education. The education level of your citizens increased by having them go to school when young, and to universities when an adult. Increased productivity of sub-industries benefiting from critical thinking. And indoctrination. Instead of learning useful things, education facilities can instead teach patriotism and do some harmless brainwashing. Indoctrinated subjects will be much more submissive. It is a thing. So, the consequence of education in this game is indoctrination makes you better at stuff like gathering, tending fields, working in warehouses, tending animals, mining. Education makes you better at stuff like laboratories, administration, embassies, smithing, carpentry. Education also makes you unhappy. It seems that with knowledge comes the crushing realization of just how awful your life is. Whereas if you're indoctrinated, you live pretty happily. You're content with your ignorance. Now, not everyone is that way inclined. I want you to go full bore, 100%. Go to school, university eventually, but school first. Humans are going to straight up learn as much as their spongy brains will accommodate, because that is super useful for them. The Tilapis, though... Sure, I will Like, if we have a look at what this does, so happiness will go down by educating, whereas if we go for indoctrination, libraries will be worse, but so many of the field hand jobs will be better. I'm going to switch you over to indoctrinate, sure. The Cretonians, they like indoctrination. They dislike education. So once again, just flip them over to indoctrination, and you can be 100% indoctrinated. There are 12 children there. And then the humans. And these are the only ones that we need to worry about. They are 100% educate. If we had Dondorians, I mean, they could go to university, sure, but... Oh, and actually that is what would affect them in university rather than what affects them in school. But I'm A-okay with saying, hey, you know what, if we've got universities, I want you to go to them. Oh, does everyone dislike learning except humans? Is that their superpower? Apparently, yes. Dondorans? I refuse. You're learning how to smith better, damn it. I don't care if you want to dance. Look, you can smith through interpretive dance if you want to. I think that would actually look quite cool. Let's get some sort of metalworking ballet. But you're gonna learn the metalworking part. That is non-negotiable. The ballet part is optional. You can choose to make the weapons through whatever kind of pirouetting you want to do. But the weapons will be made. Hello, Italics. Also, hello, Articog. Thank you very much for the 16 months, mate. Italics, Yeah, that pause. That pause was my brain processing what you wrote. My God. Hello, buddy. Welcome back for the 43rd month. How's it going, mate? Chat, you know the drill. By now, you should have already followed Italics, but if you haven't, if this is the first time you're seeing their name, then hit that follow button at the top of chat right now and make your life better. There is actually small print that says that I'm not actually liable if your life gets worse, and that there's no guarantee that it'll get better. However, it's small print, so I don't need to read it out. It's up to you to read that. If you can't see it, skill issue. Get better eyes. If this is the first time seeing my name, then pray it is your last. Interesting. There has been a prison break in Horny Jail, apparently. Ah, my lord. Well, we all know what happens when the tax decides to go strawberry picking. Right. Well, I think things are more or less wrapped up to a pretty stable state. We need our army to finish training. Adding the extra 20 to each squad was putting a lot of pressure on them, especially because we don't have that many training grounds, though the melee training rooms are not being used nearly as much as the ranged ones were. There's still 27 that need, from our melee squad, that need training, and of the melee skill that needs to be trained, probably, 34 of the Telepists need to do it. So, actually, taking that back, there is a decent amount of training that needs to be done still. But we are getting there. And we're getting there reasonably fast, I would say. Alright, well, one of the last things that we're going to do in tonight's session is long overdue, actually. It is time for us to build a court. Gives prisoners a chance to plead their case in trial before sentencing. Oh, I thought it was going to be trial by combat, but alas. Improves justice and has a chance to free the prisoner after processing. See, Songs of Syx takes the whole jail time and prison time into a very authentically medieval perspective is like, do we get to release them and it's justice? This is amazing. They can get back to work in the fields that much faster. So we're gonna need to make this one a very awe-inspiring building. The courts where prisoners are judged, clients and judges. This is a static building. Then spectators, where spectators can sit and influence conviction. Influence convictions? Is that how courts work? Apparently. Spectators. Do we want some at the top? Go. Look, it needs to have a bit of pomp and spectacle, alright? How else is justice meant to be delivered properly? Well, that, I think I need to turn that around, actually. It would make more sense. Which way do you think people need to interact with this? I think it probably needs to be this way. Like, you'd have the judge and the advisors up here, and the defendant would be there pleading their case. I think it'll probably be more like that. Let's make this a nice, interesting shape, though. I imagine there'd be some windows there or something. There we go. This is going to be a ridiculously expensive place. It's going to also require 20 gems, and thus require gems on an ongoing basis to repair it, which is why we need to get the gem farms going sooner rather than later. I very much need to get that town that we took over farming gems and sending them to us forthwith. The off-centeredness. Aavak, please. What do you mean off-centeredness? It's perfectly centered, as you can see. How many hours into the campaign do you reckon this empire is? Oh. Give me a second and I will tell you. So it's been... you know what? Before I do, chat will actually slowly lose their minds. Fine. I'm too good to you, chat. Really am. I should stop being so good to you. What? That's not what was meant to happen, but whatever. Smart remove. There we go. Let's go ahead and pop this back in. But I can give you an exact count. Also, Alex, have you streamed since Tynan's announcement? You know which one. I'll have to delete that manually, unfortunately. Nope. Been setting up equipment and cleaning all day since. Ah, I see. Okay, now that looks wrong for a different reason. Wait, I see. There we go. No, that's still wrong. How have I made it so much worse? There we go. Yep, that works. Right, dunk. First. Now, dunk. But yeah, people have been popping in. It's like, have you heard? What are your thoughts? All day. I can only imagine it's very much going to be the same for you when you stream. What was it? And then Natalia said, what was your reaction to it? I mean, first, very great excitement. Now, more sleuthing. Like, I'm still very excited, but I'm not really worrying what it's going to be at this point. I think I'm fairly certain I know what it's going to be. But I strongly suspect that this is going to be hearkening to the whole like void gods or void entities, whatever it was in the Kickstarter stretch goal that they've slowly been making their way through over time.